Alrighty, this video is going to talk a little bit about subtraction. Again, we've already talked about addition more than likely a little bit earlier in your class. So to subtract, we just want to remember it's basically just addition with a negative. So again, when we got -2 plus 6 up top here, we could have called that, right, using the commutative property, we could have called that 6 plus -2, which would be the same thing as technically just saying 6 minus 2. 6 minus 2 also would have given us that answer of 4. Or down here, notice 1 plus -6 is really the same thing as 1 minus 6, again giving us -5. One thing we want to be very careful of when we use those ideas is talking about double negatives. 8 minus a -9, right? If we have that double negative going on, we want to remember that negative minus another negative is as good as addition. Again, think about subtraction on the number line. If subtraction takes us to the left, but adding negatives takes us to the left, well, that double sort of cancels itself away. We actually want to move to the right. You know, the opposite way of going left would be right. So again, that double negative, we're going left and left. We're going opposite ways of positive, right? Basically, double negative is going to make a positive. So just be careful as far as that goes. One other thing we want to talk about very quickly before we get to another example is remember that addition had a lot of properties. We could add 0, which we called the identity property of addition. Technically, if you subtract 0, that would also still work. So I would say the identity property actually also works for subtraction. We usually refer to it as just the identity property of addition, but again, it would still hold. The commutative property of addition, down here at the bottom, notice we switched the order of 3 and 5. You have to be a little careful with this one. Let's just say we were trying to take something like 6 minus 2, like we did on the other screen. Now I got to be careful. I can't just say 2 minus 6, because although I got 4 the first answer, I would get -4 with the second one. If you want to use the commutative property when it comes to subtraction, when we switch that order, we need to remember, again, that 6 minus 2 is really 6 plus -2. So to switch the order, we could say -2 plus 6. Notice how we had to keep that negative, keep that subtraction sign or that negative on the 2, but we still wanted to know we're still adding, so we don't want to lose that addition. Associative property would also work. You'd want to be a little bit careful moving around those parentheses. Again, in this example, again, if we've got that -2, if we're going to regroup things, we don't want to make sure that that negative stays on the 2 term, right? We'd stay on that 2 the whole time. So we'd want to be a little bit careful there. And then finally, we need subtraction really to satisfy the inverse property. 3x minus 3x, or 3x plus its opposite, right? 3x plus a -3x essentially is where we get that inverse property. So again, we sort of need subtraction in order to satisfy that. One other small idea, again, just making sure that we're careful. If we're evaluating a subtraction problem, careful when you're plugging things in. Again, if x is going to be equal to -4 here down at the lower right, then 15 minus -4, oftentimes we'll throw a set of parentheses on there. Remember that double negative, again, that's going to be a 15 technically plus 4, because we already had a minus sign. We can put in another negative. Again, becomes addition. We should end up with a positive 19 when we're done. Again, if you have any questions on subtraction, make sure you talk to your teacher. Otherwise, good luck and have a great day.